If you have ADHD, you may find it difficult to concentrate when trying to practice or learn new music. It's possible you have found yourself in the past, when starting a new hobby, being intensely interested in the beginning, only to become bored or frustrated a couple of weeks in and give it up entirely before making any real progress. Well, if you want things to be different this time and you want to really start making strides on the violin, I have some tips for you today that just might help. Hi, I'm Lauren, a professional violinist and fiddle player currently living in Nashville, Tennessee, and I help thousands of people achieve their violin goals each and every week. If that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. We would love to have you here. Now, as a disclaimer, I am not a healthcare professional. I'm simply a music teacher with the desire to help my students of all different learning styles succeed. As someone who has had students of all ages with ADHD, these are the things that I have found to be the most helpful. Also, this video is intended for adult learners, but much of the information can be applied to young students as well. All right, now let's get into these tips. Tip number 1, set small goals for each practice session. If you go into a practice session with no real goal or intention for the outcome, it can be easy to lose focus. So I'd recommend setting small goals for yourself with each practice session to make sure that you have something to work toward and continually refocus so that you can stay on task. And I'd recommend writing down your goal on a piece of paper so that you can have it in front of you while you're practicing, so that if you get off task, you can refocus and come back to the goal. Tip number 2 is keep your practice sessions short. I know you may have heard before that the professionals practice for hours a day and that's the only way that you can get good, but if you have ADHD, you might just be setting yourself up for failure if you try this method. So instead, keep your practice sessions to about 20 to 30 minutes at a time, even shorter if you need to, and that way you can have several practice sessions throughout the day where you're accomplishing small goals, therefore rewarding yourself once you accomplish those goals and you have more momentum moving into the next practice session of the day. Forcing yourself to practice for extended periods of time can be frustrating, demotivating, and ultimately really boring. So try shortening your practice sessions and having multiple throughout the day, and you might just surprise yourself with how much you actually accomplish. Tip number 3, and my last tip for you today, is to stick with learning songs and tunes that you actually like. We all know how frustrating it can be to be playing a song or a tune that we're trying to get good at, but we don't really love it, or maybe we thought we did, and then we started actually learning it and we really lost interest. So if you focus your attention during your practice time on the songs and tunes that you actually really enjoy playing and listening to, this can be so much more motivating and you'll find yourself learning a lot faster versus if you were to try to force yourself to learn something that you're not really interested in. If you're in a situation where you're taking private lessons and you're needing to learn certain music for the lessons, talk to your teacher about this. Mention that you're not really interested in the tune that you're working on or the piece that you're working on like you initially thought you would be, and your teacher might be open to giving you something else that is more interesting, more fun, and a little bit more engaging. Sticking with music that is interesting and enjoyable for you to play will allow you to stay focused more easily, and practice time won't feel like a dreaded obligation. So there you have it. Those are a few of my practice tips for those of you who have ADHD. Even though learning can be a little bit more challenging for you, making these small adjustments in your approach can really make all the difference. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Happy practicing!